has got pointing this camera at you, desperately wants to know. Yes. I think his favourite rider is the same as your all-time favourite rider. Who's that?
Well, there can only be one favourite rider for as far as I'm concerned, because I rode with him as team partner at West Ham for 2 years, and he was without doubt a gentleman, a fabulous rider, and on top of that a good sportsman, and that was Jack Young.
Jack Young.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'd say, I don't care who I tell it to or wherever I am, Jack Young was my all-time favourite rider, and I've ridden with most every rider that there is been riding in Speedway, as you probably know. I rode for 22 years. And
this is Brian Meredith. He used to ride for Coventry. Tell me, Brian, who do you think's the greatest rider?
Well, it's difficult to say, but I always think that Jack Young was, because his equipment was very poor. He never spent any money on it, and it made it look so easy. In fact, I remember we used to pull his leg about and ask him how the track was, and he would say, well, you drop it in at the 8th pole and you see the Sheila in the blue coat and you make your turn and you come back out. We never saw any Sheilas in any blue coats or anybody else. But I remember one instance at Bellevue when Peter Craven was world champion and he was flying at the time, and Jack Young rode around the outside of him on the bottom bend there by the pits and just took his hand off the handlebars and waved ta-ra to him. And Jimmy Lightfoot and myself said, you know, we'll pull his leg about it now. And he was dead serious. He said, if you get it, you guys put a couple of quid down and I'll get him in the second half, I'll do it again. And he actually did do it. So he's going to be one of the, I mean, he was the first rider to win it for the second division. And no other riders ever won it from the second division, and he was the first rider to win it twice. And I think if he'd have got brilliant equipment, he could have lasted a lot longer. But Jack was just Jack. He was the greatest guy that I've ever met, and I'm sorry to say that he died about a couple of years ago in Auckland with leukemia. But I think he's a guy who will be really well remembered with the greats of Funding and Barry Briggs. But I think, in my opinion, he was the best.
Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you.
The Pax was racing up there, and it was again Youngie. And
when you say Young, you mean the legendary Jack Young?
I mean Jack Young, yes. And he hadn't been beaten for 14 meetings, and we had to win the last race to win the match, and I went out and beat Youngie. How the hell I did it, I don't know, but it really, it's something that stands out in your life. And I mean, you were very, very sporting about it and good about it, and congratulate me on doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think anybody who rode, the rider's rider was always Jack Young, wasn't it?
Youngie, one of the best. A gentleman on and off, and as straight a rider as ever you could get.
Now, talking about riding, Vic, when we was riding, who do you consider was your favourite rider?
Without any shadow of doubt, Jack Young.
Jack Young.
He's the greatest, the only man that got all his points from behind. And I'll tell you a little story about Jack. I was at Haringey one night, and Jack on the last corner went round the outside of Split Waterman, up the inside of Tommy Price, who looked to be in an unassailable position, and he came in the dressing room afterwards moaning, Jack did. He said, I do wish I could get out the gate. And Tommy Price said, thank Christ you can't. He said, because we all might as well go home.
The post-war years were, I think, the most hard years of Speedway that there ever was. Yeah. Jack Young, he started after the war in Australia and came over here, and he rode for Edinburgh, didn't he?
You know, he nearly went home after the first meeting he saw here, did he?
Yeah, he told me.
Yeah,
he told me.
He saw some novices going round at High Beach, and he said, "Are they novices?" I said, "He said, I'm going home."
yeah, but that was the man's ability, because
well, he's not a very modest man, wasn't he?
He was a modest man, as I said before. I think he was a very modest gentleman, which is unusual for an Australian.
Absolutely.